Hi, and welcome to Friday on Revelations TV. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we grow our businesses. Now, we grow our business when we create and deliver value that is compelling to a market that is willing to pay for that value. All right? So this is where we make money. Now, when we first start out with our businesses, we have a really good handle on where our value is, and we understand our markets. But then over time, things shift. You see, what happens is we have our value, but the markets begin to change. They begin to move on. They move out here. They shift away from us because the customers are changing, the prospects are changing, everything's changing around us. And what happens is we don't necessarily move our value in sync with those markets. And that is because we get stuck in gravity. So perhaps it's our favorite product. And so we love it and we know it's valuable, so we add more product to it, or we discount it, or we do whatever. But what's really happening is the value of that product is decreasing for our markets, and our markets are moving farther and farther away from our value. So we either have two choices. We can either find a new market that wants our value, or we can move our value so that it reflects what our markets need. Now, the problem, you see, is that gravity muddles all this up because we're sitting here still believing that our value is the value as it always was and that we're ready to grow. So, here is the key to ditching your gravity about your value, your markets, your opportunities, whichever one you want to talk about. First of all, you have your value. Second of all, let's say you have markets that are willing to pay for that value. Here's the answer to finding out how you can grow your business even more successfully. And it's really very simple. You see, you question everything. That's right. It's as simple as asking a question. This is my value. Why do you believe that? Why do you know that's true? Why do you think it's valuable? Well, my customer told me. Why did they say that? Well, they said it because they bought my product. When did they buy your product? 2 years ago. Have you talked to them lately? Well, no. Well, then why do you still believe that's your value? Get it? Well, this is my strongest market. Why do you believe that? Well, because it always has been. But why do you believe that? Well, because I started in that market. But why do you believe it's still the strongest market today? Simply ask questions. Question everything. Do it with yourself on a daily basis. Bring your teams in, bring your friends and associates in, and if you don't have a team, ask questions. Ask, why do I believe that? What does that mean? When was that? If it's over 6 months, throw it out. Question, question, question. Everything. That's the way to ditch your gravity and grow. Happy Friday, y'all.